way out by voting out those board members that allow the property taxes to increase.
Mr. Whitney.
Yes. Actually, property taxes, in a way, are a state issue. That's because of our school funding system in Illinois. Despite what our Constitution says, the percentage of state revenue to support our public schools in Illinois is only 37%, which is the lowest percentage in the United States. And we rely far too much on local property taxes to fund our schools, which has given us the most unequal schools in the United States between rich and poor districts. We have to solve that problem. That's why I'm supporting a measure like Senate Bill 750, which is part of the package, would ensure that our funding stream for our public schools is at least 51% coming from the state. And secondly, it ensures that all of our public schools receive the foundation level of funding recommended by the Education Funding Advisory Board, so we lift up the floor for the poorest schools without telling the richer schools they have to provide less. And as part of the package, it provides real property tax relief coming from Springfield. We don't want it to be a shell game like the lottery, where once they get the state money, now they lower the assessments at the local level. The relief has to come from Springfield for this to work. This is the plan that's supported by the organizations in the Responsible Budget Coalition that I'm aligned with in this very important fight. It's something people in Illinois have been fighting for years, going back to the Eikenberry Commission under Governor Edgar. The income tax for property tax swap.
Thank you, Mr. Whitney. Mr. Cohen.
I took a pledge from Tax Accountability, and I received their endorsement. That pledge was not to raise taxes. And I promised the people of the state, I'm not going to raise taxes. And to be very honest, I guess the best way to put this is, I've always been honest throughout this whole campaign, honest and transparent. Anyone that stands before you and tells you they're going to lower taxes is lying. This state has a $14 billion deficit. It has a $130 billion deficit for the pension system. Now, I agree that education should come from the lottery. That's why we all agreed to let the legislators pass the lottery. That's why we have the lottery today. Unfortunately, it was so lucrative that they took that money and put it into the general fund. And that's why there's such a dependence on property tax. If we take the money from the general fund and put it back into education, the burden wouldn't be so bad on property tax, and there might be less of a disparity in the education system throughout Illinois, so that the African American students and the white students had the same education. It certainly is not happening today.
Do we have a rebuttal?
Yes, I'd like to rebut. It's a great idea to say that the state should pay for education and then we can get rid of property taxes, but unless you outlaw property taxes completely, what do you think is going to happen? The local districts are going to keep the property tax anyway, and that is the basis for our educational system. So what we're going to end up with is just two taxes. We're already $13 billion in the hole. What do you think is going to happen if we give more money to State Board of Education and expand those programs? I don't think property taxes will go away.
Mr. Cohen, do you have a rebuttal?
No.
Mr. Whitney?
I'll pass.
Gentlemen, we have moved to the point of closing statements. You each have 2 minutes. We will start with Mr. Whitney.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you for listening. I hope you've come to appreciate that I'm offering sound public policy options on all the issues facing the people. Obviously, there were some we didn't get to this evening, although I thank you for your very good questions. But above and beyond where I stand on any particular issue is where I'm coming from. You know, one of the problems we face in American politics today is the domination by big money. This is part of the reason we founded the Green Party, a party that's based on principles, one of which is grassroots democracy. Green Party candidates do not accept corporate campaign contributions because we want to represent you, the people. I can't be bought or sold. I'm not for sale. And this is a very important issue. You know, if we had truth in advertising during the political campaigns, I think both Governor Quinn and Senator Brady should be required to dress like NASCAR drivers to show all the corporate logos of all their sponsors. And then you'd really see why we're getting the kinds of results we're getting in our political system. In American politics today, 80% of all campaign contributions are coming from 1% of the population. This is the fundamental problem. They're not representing us. These twin institutions, the Democratic and Republican parties, neither of which happen to be here in this forum tonight, that's why you get those results. That's why even when the Democrats are in power, you never really see the best liberal ideas adopted, and when the Republicans in power, you never see the best conservative ideas adopted. Because when they fight each other, that's a game. They're really representing the same interests. We need to break that system, support Whitney for governor, go to whitneyforgov.org, support the other Green Party candidates in this campaign, and then you'll see government that's really serving you. Thank you.
Mr. Coleman.
Again, I'd like to thank the NAACP for holding this debate or this forum. Again, while my opponents are out there talking about jobs, I am holding job fairs to get real people real jobs. While my opponents are out there talking about crime, I'm out there marching with Roseland Ceasefire to bring awareness to the neighborhoods, to end the violence, to end the killings. I stood with Ron Carter and Mark Allen just yesterday. We had a press conference calling on Governor Quinn to keep the Put Illinois People Back to Work program going. It's scheduled to end on the 30th. Like Mr. Whitney had said, we have the Republicans and the Democrats who are taking PAC money, special interest money, union money. When you rely so heavily on those organizations for your donations, there's no way you can give the people honest representation. I myself am not taking any special interest money. My donations come from the people of Illinois, and the rest of the funding came from myself. I am not beholden to anybody except for the people of Illinois. I asked for one opportunity, one term as governor, and let me show you that I can bring the businesses back to Illinois, that we can put the people back to work, that together we can educate our way out of this recession, that we can bring hope and prosperity back to the state of Illinois and make Illinois the great state it once was. Thank you very much.
Mr. Green.
We stand at a great divide where we have to decide for ourselves, for the future of our country and our state. Do we want bigger government? Do we want more government with the attendant corruption and the inefficiencies built into it? Or do we want to enhance our personal liberties, our personal responsibilities to make our lives better and to help our communities? I agree with Ronald Reagan on one issue, and that is that government is not the solution to our problems. Government is the problem. And it's time for us to realize that we can't keep asking government to solve the problems and then turn around and complain because they didn't balance the budget, or because we're sending them to jail, or because our taxes are too high. These things, it's in your hands. It's in your hands to decide what you want to do. Do you want to continue to send the bill to your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, or do you want to take control of your life and solve these problems today? I am standing here or sitting here because I believe that it is our responsibility to pay for our business in our lifetimes and not continue to take out bonds that won't be paid off until the year 2040, until the year my grandchildren, who aren't even born yet, turn 30 years old. So you have to decide for yourself what is important: more government or more freedom. I'm here because I believe more freedom is the answer. Thank you.
thank you for your participation in the debates. We wish you well, all of you, in the upcoming elections. Thank you.
We were supposed to have one more debate tonight for the 10th Congressional District for Congress.